please give a brief introduction about yourself to our audience?
I was a student at Rahul College, Mathura, from kindergarten up to HSC. Those days, Rahul was short of teachers and there were no entrance to engineering from Rahul. So I was the first to enter the engineering faculty from Mathura Rahul. Then I joined the engineering faculty in 1963.
What inspired you to become an academic, and how did your journey in engineering education begin?
Yes, so from 1964, I was at the engineering faculty. In 1967, I graduated, and I was interested in teaching from those days. And one of my teachers was Professor Bartholomeus in the engineering mathematics department. He was very keen that I join the academic staff. So soon after graduation, I joined as an assistant lecturer in engineering mathematics in 1967. And then the dean at the time was Professor Yoi Pereira. So Professor Yoi Pereira was keen to get me as a lecturer in civil engineering to specialize in fluid mechanics. So I joined the permanent academic staff in 1968 and I did my postgraduate studies at Imperial College London and returned to the faculty to continue as a lecturer in civil engineering.
So how did you come to be involved in establishing the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Ruhuna?
Yes, in 1997, the idea of setting up a third engineering faculty. At that time, there were only two engineering faculties. University of Peradeniya was the first, that was established in Colombo. Then the University of Moratuwa, that was established in 1972. There was a big demand for a third engineering faculty. So the plan was to set up the third engineering faculty in Jaffna. But because of the war, they could not go ahead with that plan. So during this time, the Ruhuna University was trying to establish an engineering faculty. So they set up a Senate committee to look into this. But their view was to locate an engineering faculty in the main Ruhuna campus, save on library facilities and other facilities. If they set it up near the science faculty, then some of the science lecturers can help with the teaching, the library can be used like that. That was their idea. But Dr. Richard Patirana, who was the Minister of Education, he was very keen to get the engineering faculty established in his electorate at Hapulwala. Professor Pinnaduge, he was my friend. He approached me and asked me to help to set up this faculty. So at that time, I was not very keen on the idea because I knew without foreign funds, without grant aid for Japanese or Korean grant aid for equipment and other assistance, it was very difficult to get local money to set up a faculty. Engineering laboratories are very costly, equipment is very costly, books are very expensive. So I told them that with the government allocation, you cannot put up a proper faculty. And it is not proper to establish a third grade faculty at Ruhuna because we will be doing an injustice to the students from Ruhuna if they come to study in a place like that. So I managed to persuade the minister that we should start setting up a good faculty like the Peradeniya faculty. And that will involve a lot of expenses. And we have to give accommodation to staff. That is the only way we can attract staff. Because most of the faculties, even Peradeniya, had problems recruiting staff. So the minister agreed with my suggestion. He said, okay, I will give whatever you suggest to attract staff. So I suggested that we give them accommodation within Apogala and give their children schooling facilities at the Richmond. That's one way to attract staff. So he agreed to that. And we managed to set up this faculty in 1998. It was a very well done job, very well planned with all these facilities. First sketch I made about that building. This building was sent in 1997 October. By 1999, we had built it. And in 1999, we were ready to come into occupation of this building and the guest house. So in 1999, we recruited staff and we were able to get a few very good quality staff. At that time, we were getting the help of some very senior academics. One is Professor Hool, Professor Jeevan Hool. He had a lot of experience in United States. He did his high studies there and he knew about this semester-based modular systems. We were not used to that. Here we were practicing the end of the year examinations. Like the advanced level, we conduct exams at the end of the year. Students have to sit a 3-hour paper and there was no continuous assessment. The other laboratory work and projects and other things are not given marks. They were not given credit. So the students were not encouraged to work hard with their laboratory work and project work and extra things. So we started a new system that is practiced in the United States, giving credit to those components. Continuous assessment was introduced and we introduced semester-based modular systems. So it was, Professor Hool helped us a lot to establish a new curriculum. And that was a real trendsetter, a new experience. So we were the first to introduce the semester-based modular system. And that was a very good move because that helped the students to worry less about the exams and concentrate more on studies and doing projects and doing lab work. Because we knew that the students coming to Ruhuna will be mostly rural students. So this system we devised, we introduced, was a big help for them. Now there was no pressure passing exams.
Why was the goal chosen as the location for the faculty and why the faculty was created isolated from the other faculties?
So we were happy to have the faculty in Galle because of all those advantages. One thing is many industries are located near Galle rather than at Matara. And attracting staff will be easier if it is established in Galle.
So, and who were the key individuals or organizations involved in making this faculty a reality?
Now, I must mention Professor Hool, who was one of our visiting professors at the time. He wrote many articles giving wide publicity to what we are doing about the new curriculum and about the new thinking behind and the new degree program. So he gave wide publicity in the newspapers. So before we started the faculty, we had a lot of support. Some of our friends from Open University, some from University of Ruhuna, and some from Peradeniya, and a few from abroad. They came and sat with us planning the initial curriculum and teaching assessment schemes. So we had a very solid framework to start this faculty. And the initial group of supportive staff we had was the key to our success.
So, what kind of resistance and difficulties did you face from the government or academic parties?
There was no resistance from government because it was minister's pet project. It was his keen project. He wanted to see that this faculty comes up as a good quality faculty, his own electorate. So he got all the ministers to support, but the local funds are limited. The funds come from UGC. They have their rigid schemes of promotion, rigid schemes of recruitment, giving leave. So the fund allocation had to be like to all other faculties. So that is why we went out of the way. We could not give them bigger salaries. We went to give more advantages like housing facilities and schooling facilities for their children to attract staff. So that is how we managed to get the staff. And students, we publicized, we gave a lot of publicity in the press and elsewhere that we are starting a new curriculum, and this will make learning easy, that they don't have to worry about the language medium. English is not going to be a barrier. They will be able to pass exams easily and have a good education system in this faculty.
So, how did you manage to obtain access to building infrastructure and campus funds management?
They serve the purpose. We planned the faculty with good buildings that can survive for 10-15 years. We did not go for lifts and air conditions and things. The laboratories, some of them present people complain that they are very high. You have to climb 3-4 stories, that they should have got a lift. But we did not think of those because those are very expensive items. We were more keen to give the very basic facilities like canteens, accommodation, books, rather than those expensive luxuries. So we planned the faculty with the very basic amenities.
So, let's talk about the first batch.
Yes, we admitted the first batch of 100 students in March 2000. And they were given accommodation in houses outside with basic minimum facilities. They were quite happy because most of them coming from rural homes. They were willing to put up with hardships. They were very keen to see that they have a good future. And we promised them. We promised them a good education, not second to any other faculty. Perhaps they can do better than some of the faculties. So they accepted our word. They knew that they are in for a good thing, that they will have a very successful journey in this faculty. We told them that you have nothing to worry. In 4 years, you will become good, successful engineering graduates. And we kept our word. And they kept their word. Many of them got first classes, second uppers, and some of them are professors, senior engineers, doing very well. The first few batches, they were known to me personally. They knew that we are taking a lot of effort for their sake, and they accepted our word. Sometimes we had water shortages. In Gaul, water was a problem those days. Sometimes there are water cuts, but they were willing to put up with. There were no protests. They didn't put any posters or anything to discredit the faculty. They took this faculty as their own home.
So, what were the academic and extracurricular opportunities available to them?
We did not have the playground or other facilities in the beginning, but they used sports grounds in the school adjoining and other things. They were happy to live with those difficulties. Their main target was to make it work and do their studies well. The staff was willing to help. So some of the shortcomings, things like lab equipment, things like library books, things like sports facilities, accommodation, they were willing to put up with those little shortcomings.
So, the first batch, how did they come to know about the faculty?
Yes, as I said, Professor Hool, who was helping us a lot, he wrote many articles giving wide publicity to what we are doing at Hapugala, giving a good image for this faculty, that we are doing a great step in engineering education, something that has not been tried elsewhere, that it is going to be a success story. So that gave a lot of people confidence. Even some of my friends at Peradeniya, my friends at Moratuwa University, academics, they knew that we are in for a good thing. And they came and helped us because they wanted us to succeed. In fact, when the first batch graduated, we got accreditation, recognition immediately, because everyone knew that we have introduced a new system which works. We had already proof that our students, there were no failures. Our students were all graduating with honors. So it was a good proof to everybody. The industry, without any experience, they didn't know about Ruhuna graduate, they had no experience about Ruhuna graduates, but when our people went for training, they knew that our students are a very hard-working, key, committed students. So they are willing to trust our graduates.
So how did the student body and the academic staff grow over time?
From the beginning, it was a very cordial relationship, very healthy, because we appointed academic advisors. We told the students, the staff here is to help you to learn better. There was no resistance from students towards staff. During that time, this was in 1999-2000 era, in other universities, there were various resistance from students to approach the staff. They were misguided sometimes not to talk to staff. So these students that we admitted, they had complete trust in us. They knew that we are their friends, that we are here to help them. They knew that this was out of sincere willingness to help. Similarly, the other lecturers who were here, they were very supportive. They were doing everything possible to make their stay happy and comfortable. So the students accepted us like they are elders in the family, or fathers or mothers. So that was a very important culture that we built. We started a faculty day. Everyone joined. They were playing games. We were sharing food. The non-academics and the students and the academic, we were like one big family. So from the beginning, we created that kind of culture of good relationships.
What impact did the faculty have on the national engineering landscape and on the international engineering world?
Yes. Well, once the batches graduated, they proved that they are capable engineers. They had proved to the local industry that they can work as well or better than some of the graduates, because their learning habits are good. They were hard-working students. They were not people who neglect things. They had done their lab work. They had attended lectures. They were not people who would take shortcuts. So the industry also knew that Ruhuna students are a different breed, that they are willing to work hard, and if you give them a job, they will work hard and produce results. So the industry accepted our students, and we got good recognition from the local industry. And we got the accreditation of the professional body, the Institution of Engineers. So the other universities were ready to accept our students.
So how did the faculty engage with the local community around the Happaville?
And at that time, the students were living in the houses nearby, because these are mostly rural students. They know how to move with the local people. They had a good rapport. So we didn't have to teach anything new. They know how to get along with people. So our students already knew how to get closer to the community. So we had a lot of support from the neighboring community.
Is there any initial inspiration for building this faculty special? So could you tell us about your inspired faculties or inspired universities here?
Well, I have seen the way the Peradeniya Engineering Faculty was built and raised by our Professor Yoi Perra, who was the founder dean. So I had followed his steps very closely. I knew how the Peradeniya faculty came up and how Peradeniya was accepted as a world-class engineering faculty.
So if you had the chance to do something different, so what would it be?
Well, I don't think I would have done anything different, because I already knew that what was the best thing that we could do within those constraints. We can't plan for grand things with limited facilities. What I did for this faculty was the best I could do with the facilities available for this country. For our culture, for our present economy, this was the best we could do.
What is your vision for the future of this faculty?
It is the people who are managing this faculty. It is something that evolves everywhere. New people will join, new academic staff will join, new students will join. They are the people who have to plan how to go forward. So it applies to any institution. The people who are managing this faculty with the resources and with the current needs of the country. If the country needs more research-oriented engineers, they should produce more research-oriented engineers. If the country needs more computer engineers or more marine engineers, that flexibility is with the planning of people who are managing. We started with a structure that can be easily expanded, that can be easily modified to absorb all this. We started with civil and environmental engineering, which was not there before. Other universities had only civil engineering, but we started with civil and environmental engineering, and mechanical and manufacturing engineering, and electrical and information engineering. Information engineering was new that time. So it created enough space for people to develop computer engineering and marine engineering, and we introduced a new department of interdisciplinary studies that was never heard in this country. Interdisciplinary studies was first introduced by Ruhuna faculty, and it was caught up by all other faculties to teach many interdisciplinary subjects, to make engineers more complete, to teach them humanities, to teach them ethics, to teach them about the responsibilities. So we started with some really groundbreaking developments.
Do you have any memorable incidents, funny, emotional, or profound from those first 2 years?
Yes, of course. I was really attached to this place like my own. I was bred and groomed at Peradeniya from 1964 till I retired in 2010. I was attached to Peradeniya staff. So that was my second home. But in 1998, when I came here, I really devoted to this place, and I want to make this faculty be as good as the best I can do. So I was really committed. I was seriously attached. In fact, I told you, when we come for the faculty days, we will come and spend the days. I come with my wife and she will bring some food like that. It was a very homely thing.
So, if you could give a message to the undergraduating students and to the students those are expecting to study in this faculty, what message would you give to them?
Yes, the same message that I gave to the first 100 students, I can tell them that we have tailored, we have designed a curriculum that will never fail, that will ensure success for everybody. So if the students work according to what the minimum expected, we don't expect the students to kill themselves over studies, not do anything else. They have enough time. The way we plan the curriculum, they had enough free time to engage in sports. They had enough free time to engage in other cultural activities, socialize. Because we removed the hard part. The students don't have to engage cramming a whole year of notes. In one semester, everything is completed and they see the results of their success. So the curriculum gave them enough time. The way reports are written, now of course the students are doing more project work and spending more time on research projects and things, that is out of their interest. It is done with their interest. So, I think this system will work. The people who run it should manage so that the students are not burdened. Without burdening the students, give them something to enjoy. And the future students should study because they like it. When you do something because you like it, you will do it. It's like anything at home. If you build a Vesak lantern because you like to see a good Vesak lantern, you will spend hours and hours and build. But if somebody asks you to do it as an exercise, then they will not spend the same time. So this must be done in that spirit. They do the studies. They go through the 4 years because they love to do well and get a good degree and get a good name as a Ruhuna engineer.